All right, this is the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, and I'm going to start at verse 3, and it says, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worshiped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God." I want to give all honor, all glory, and all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the elders of the nation of Israel. Shalom to you brothers out there that are laboring, enduring the elements, making your body a living sacrifice, trying to seal the elect, making your call and election sure, seeking out your own salvation, as well as you sisters that are learning, listening, applying, being obedient to your husbands. Shalom, shalom. Again, it's the brother Zechariah coming back to you with another lesson, and Lord willing, this be edifying. And, hey, these damn devils, man, they must have sprayed heavily last night or very early this morning, but I come out and it's real foggy out here. And you think that there's normal fog, but you could tell, like looking at it, it's that shit that they spray, and it's in there because they try to block out the sun. Like the sun, I come out and the sun is supposed to be shining bright, but they're blocking it out. And so that's they went all out with that spraying to the point to where that stuff's foggy, man. And Lord willing, man, while I'm out here, I don't breathe it in, or it don't affect me in any way. You know, Yahweh Shemel Shah will protect his no matter what. You know, so you know, it tells you in the book of Psalms how he won't allow anything, you know, to harm you. All right. So you know, because, hey, these damn devils, man, that stuff that they spray up there is really no good for our bodies. You know, it messes up your whole immune system and your breathing and everything, man. All right. That's why when you have trouble breathing, a lot of it is because they're spraying that stuff up there, which it has some very hazardous chemicals in it. All right. But back to this, man. All right. We're going to go back up to 2 Thessalonians, all right, chapter 2, and start with verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means. And it says, let no man deceive you. Okay. There are men down here that are doing the bidding. All right. In the works of Satan. All right. Rulership. You know, they're in rulership. And their whole job is to deceive you. So don't be deceived. Let no man deceive you by any means. For that day shall not come except there come a following way first, and that man of sin be revealed. He has to be revealed, and he has been revealed. It is Esau Edom, all right? Esau Edom, which we know it to be the so-called white man, all right? He is the devil that the Bible speaks of, all right? And it says the son of perdition, all right? Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, and that's what he does, you know? He changed all the images, all right? He made the Most High look like a white man, you know. He did that to the Messiah. When you go into the scriptures, it clearly tells you. But our people are so blind, they don't even look, read, or nothing. They just take, you know, they a bunch of emotional creatures, you know, and get mad, you know, about it, you know, because the God of this world, which is Satan, has their minds, all right? But it says, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God, okay? He has a God complex, you know, but he's the wicked. All he does is wickedness, you know? He do stuff to you, and then he'll pop up and appear like he, you know, he's he's the hero. He's coming to save the day when he's the root and the cause of the problems, all right? So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and tap into the first article. And I got several articles. It's kind of like two, I mean, there's some of them are a little bit different topics, but and then similar in ways, because you got two presidents of the Northern Kingdom, all right, out there in South America, pretty much being vocal, all right, and they're letting you know that, hey, this man Esau Edom is the damn devil. Okay, we've been telling you this, but they're telling you from, I guess, a worldly sense, because we're telling you on a spiritual level, all right, because we know who he is according to the scriptures, all right. But it says this article here, Maduro all right, accuses U.S. of pushing for war, all right, to seize Venezuela's natural resources. Okay, so he's saying that the whole war thing is... Yeah, it looked like he was trying to play like a truth or dare or something. But yeah, it says Maduro accuses U.S. of pushing for war to seize Venezuela's natural resources. It says Venezuela president claims U.S. deployment in Caribbean is part of war plan to control his country's oil, gas, and gold reserves. So see, they have resources, and that's what Esau wants, man. All right, and I believe it. All right, what he's saying, I truly believe it without 100%. That Esau, Edom, you know, Babylon the Great, aka America, is plotting on them for their resources. This is what they do. All right, they've been doing this from the jump, and they've been doing it. So they have to wage war on you. They have to push a narrative, and they do it with their media and stuff. But it's the same. It's the same devil, the same tactics, the same everything. And they'll push a narrative and say that you're doing this and doing that, and we're trying a war on drugs and stuff. And then they go in there and try to take your country, because so that they can get your resources. This is what Esau Edom does, man. Every day, all day, every day. War is in his heart. Okay, his blessing is the sword. All right, he's going to use it. So again, Maduro accuses U.S. of pushing for war to seize Venezuela's natural resources. Venezuela president claims U.S. deployment in Caribbean is part of war plan to control his country's oil, gas, all right, and gold reserves. Absolutely. All right, I truly believe that. So let's go ahead and go here to the book of Micah chapter 2 and verse 2, because this is the nature of Esau Edom. And it says, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. When he came upon the Israelites, the curses that he was going to come, and he was going to not only take us into captivity, but he was going to take all of our resources and everything. It's like, you know, it tells you in the scriptures of how, you know, like, damn, like, would you at least leave some grapes? Like, he took all the grapes and stuff. You know, this is a parable going into how his nature is. When he come in and he gonna take everything. All right, that's his nature. All right, so again, it says, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. And see, these countries are no longer like vulnerable. You know, they're prepared to fight and do whatever they got to do to protect, you know, their country, their people, their resources, and their things, because they know, like, if this man gets in here and does what he does, all hell's going to break loose. All right. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 12, starting at verse 10. All right. And this is one of the things that we always tell our people, you know, because our people have this love everybody. That's part of his deceit. He pushed that vibration. All right. Love everybody. Trust everybody. Let's all get along. Meanwhile, he doesn't live up to that. But this is Sirach 12, starting at verse 10. It says, never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Okay? Never trust your enemy. All right? Verse 11, it says, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass. And thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. Yeah. This is that same devil, man. Okay, and this is what we try to warn you about. Telling you not to trust this man. You know, if you trust him, then hey, he's going to, you know, he's going to show you. He's going to show you who he is. Which, you know, our people are starting to see it. They're seeing this man for who he is. They're like, damn, man, this dude is the damn devil. You know, he's showing his horns. You know, and his wine is no longer working on the people. You know, he can no longer deceive you, you know, because people are starting to wake up and see him for who he is, you know, which is going to lead to him going to a great wrath, which, you know, we'll get to that here in a little bit. But never trust thy enemy. All right. All right, y'all. So I'm on Instagram, and this is from the Sidewalk School. All right. I guess this is a, you know, Instagram page or whatever. It's the name of it. But I wanted to read this. It says Venezuela is getting ready for whatever the smoke for whatever smoke the U.S. wants to bring. And that's crazy because out here it's looking like the fog. It looks like smoke everywhere. Hopefully, if it stays like this when I get done with this lesson, I can maybe get some pictures and show y'all, or maybe video. Because, hey, you know, I don't know if pictures might do it justice, but literally it looks like smoke out here. And that's spiritual, because now I'm looking at this here, and it says Venezuela is getting ready for whatever smoke the U.S. wants to bring. All right. And you can see these are our people, man. All right. It's not about color, but look, you can see how, look, in her complexion, she looked like she about darker than me, you know. You can see the different shades of them. All right. And look at the first brother there. I've seen some Cuban brothers that look like him, you know, but you can see, and then look at the guy next to him, you know, both of them are two different shades, different type of features and stuff, but hey, they the same people, man. All right. But these are our people, man. All right. Look at that. You know, some of these, they look like Panamanians. I got cousins out there in Panama, you know. Now, of course, they wouldn't, I mean, you know, they were, today they would refer to themselves as Panamanian, but my cousin went down there and got with a Panamanian woman and had a son, you know, which my cousin would be of the tribe of Gad. So, you know, he would be an actual Gadite, but he's amongst, you know, he's still amongst his brethren there, but he would identify as Panamanian, but really he's of the tribe of Gad when you go into it of the biblical, you know, a biblical sense. All right. But yeah, you can see that they're arming themselves. All right. And look at read this a little bit. All right. And it says AFP's Juan Barreto photographs members of the Bolivarian, which I'm guessing that's Bolivia. All right. Bolivarian national militia taking part in military training in La Guaira, Venezuela. All right. Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro, all right, has called for bolstering, all right, the cash-strapped country's defenses in response to U.S. military deployment off its coast. Fearing invasion, thousands of Venezuelans have joined, all right, a civilian militia. So people are preparing themselves in case, you know, hey, if shit gets real, you know, because, you know, Esau's training his people and has his people prepared to go in and do what they do. Well, guess what? They're preparing themselves, and you got men and women, man. So this is really like it's a resistance unto this damn devil. All right. You know, even though the scripture says, hey, if it be possible, live peaceably with all men. And I think that's what countries are trying to do. But Esau goes in there and be fucking with you. He goes around and he fucks with you, man. So now, you know, you know, there's a thing called defending yourself, and that's what they're preparing to do. They're preparing to defend themselves. All right. But this is the book of Psalms 144 and verse 1. And it's a psalm of David. All right. It says, blessed be the Lord, my strength. All right. Blessed be the Lord Yahweh, my strength. All right. Which teacheth my hands to war and my fingers to fight. OK, sometimes shit gets real and you might have to defend yourself. All right. You know, sometimes Esau will push that vibration, you know, want our people to be in that Martin Luther King spirit. You know, you get hit upside your head with a club or something, a baton, you know, and your head leaking and you just get back up and keep marching. We shall overcome. You know, that's the type of spirit Esau wants our people under. But, you know, you might have to defend yourself. All right. Now, that don't mean you just go out there and just picking fights and being a brawler. You know, like I said, when we go out there on the highways and hedges, we bring out the word, the gospel, you know, current events, whatever. You know, and that's it. You know, we are men of peace. You know, we're not going out there doing all that. You know, we hold our peace and let Yahweh Bashim Yahushua fight our battles. But there are times where you have to, you know, defend yourself. So again, it says, blessed be the Lord, Yahweh, my strength, which teacheth my hands to war and my fingers to fight. All right. So that's heavy seeing those pictures there. All right. And even though this is going into something else, this piece right here in Ezekiel 38 and verse 7, you know, it says, be thou prepared, okay, and prepare for thyself, all right, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them, all right. You know, and that's what Maduro is trying to be unto his people. He's trying to be a guard, you know, having his people on alert and prepared, you know, feeling like, hey, these dudes, they're going to come in and try to make war with us, man. All right. I got another article from it's from the El País. All right. And it says Maduro, it says, you know, he said If the gringos attack, we will respond. All right. Venezuela's president assures that all the country's economic activity will not slow down despite the threats from the U.S. All right. So it's showing you that they're getting prepared, man, for battle, for war, whatever the case may be, which all that is biblical prophecy. By the way, this is Matthew 24, starting at verse 6. It says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." Yeah, the end is not yet. Okay, you're going to hear wars and rumors of wars. Right now, this sounds like rumors of wars, even though we do see the U.S. has put ships out there in the West Indies, okay? Like they're ready to go in for an attack on Venezuela. All right. Verse 7, it says, "For nation shall rise against nation." Ain't that nation against nation? All right. "And kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places." Philippines just got hit with an earthquake. And, hey, they've been getting hit, man. Whether it's they got hit with some typhoons. They getting hit with earthquakes. Man, it's a lot of judgment going out around that region, Again, it says, "in earthquakes in diverse places." Verse 8, "All these are the beginning of sorrows." So all these are the beginning of sorrows, man. All right. So we in this faith and this truth, all right, should be preparing ourselves and measuring the times and understanding when we see these things happen, okay, we're getting closer and closer to the end. This is Revelations 12 and 12. It says, "Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." And you can see that devil has a lowercase d. That's Esau Edom, man. He's coming down with great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And for him to know that he has a short time, that means he's measuring the times, which I always say this, they're measuring the times on the left hand as we are measuring times on the right hand, the righteous side. They're on the left hand, which is Satan, And they know that their time is running out. There's bounds that they cannot pass, as it tells you in the book of Job. So again, it says, "Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." So with that, we're going to go to the other article. All right, this is the other president. And like I said, the tribes, man, they're starting to wake up and see some things like, hold on, man, this is, so something about this ain't adding up, But I got this one. I just pulled it up from X, formerly known as Twitter. And it says, El Salvador president, all right, Bukele, all right, compares UK digital ID to Book of Revelations mark of the beast. All right, which we know that it's not the actual mark of the beast, but it's part of it. It's part of it. All these things that they're doing, they're all like pieces to the puzzle. It's a part of the system. Just like the whole, with the digital currency and all that stuff, they're getting everything all in motion. But ultimately, they want to try to microchip you. All right. This is a real thing. This is not something made up. It's not a conspiracy. It's a real deal thing. And they're doing it before our very eyes. It's no coincidence that when they started talking about the digital ID, next thing you know, they went right back to talking about that articles start coming right back out, resurfacing about the stuff over in, Switzerland, where thousands of them over there are already microchipped. They've been microchipped for a while now. And the men of the Lord have always been talking about that, and it's not just over there. I remember there was like a company here in the U.S. I want to say it was either somewhere around Michigan or Wisconsin, one of them up northern states, all right, somewhere around there. It's either like Michigan or Wisconsin, but it was a company, and I think they was microchipping their employees. So people was getting microchipped, and that was a big thing that they were talking about. But here it is. You have the president of El Salvador comparing the UK digital ID to the Book of Revelations mark of the beast. All right, so they're starting to see like, hey, something about all these things that these devils are doing is not adding up, and you're going to see more and more that they are the devil. And when some people figure it out, it's going to be too late. Like I said, we've been telling you, and we've been called crazy. We've been called you're teaching hate, you're racist, you're all these things. But meanwhile, Esau, Edom can look at you and call you every name in the book, and you just love and you forgive and love them and all that because you just want to be accepted. All right, this is 2 Corinthians 2 and verse 11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. We're not ignorant of his devices, even like his device as in the digital ID. We're not ignorant of his devices. We know that this is something that is tied and linked with the MOTB. All right, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. All right. The mark of the beast in the AI overview, it says, is a biblical concept from the book of Revelation symbolizing allegiance to earthly powers. Who are these earthly powers? Esau, Edom, they're in rulership. Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. The book of Malachi tells you that they are the border of wickedness. We know that 2nd Ezra 6 and 9 tells you that Esau will be the end of the world. We are in the end times. If you can't see that right now, then I don't know what to tell you. You know, you just been blind. We are in the end times, and we are at the end of this man's rulership. This is why he's moving like he's moving. You know, that Operation Warp Speed or whatever they call it, his spirit. They moving fast, man. All right. A biblical concept from the book of Revelation symbolizing allegiance to earthly powers opposing God. See, hey, what did we read in 2 Thessalonians? Come on now. Hey, who opposing God and representing a refusal to worship him. While various interpretations exist from a literal mark to modern technologies like microchips, biblical scholars generally view the symbol as an expression of submission to oppressive political or religious powers like the Roman Empire for the original audience. Well, guess what? The ones that are ruling today, it's the Roman Empire all over again. They're back. That's that deadly wound being healed. You know, they were taken down, and when they said we would return and build the desolate places, that was the Roman Empire, and that's why they're back, and that's why the structures look just like the Roman Empire. You know, their arenas, it's just like the Colosseums. These arenas all throughout America. You know, this place is ancient Rome. It's spiritual Egypt. It's spiritual Sodom. You know, it pushes homosexuality and everything. It's all those ancient kingdoms all wrapped into one. That's why it's called Babylon the Great. It's Babylon. It's even Babylon as well, but it's Babylon the Great. You know, there's no other wicked kingdom like this one. This one is the wicked of all those ancient kingdoms. All right. So that's where we're at with it. All right. And then down here in the biblical context, it says the mark is described in chapter 13, which we will get to that in a little bit. But it says where the people are forced to receive it on their right hand or forehead to be able to buy or sell. All right. So I also want to pull up the Brit Digital ID. And let's see. It says the term Brit Digital ID refers to a proposed mandatory digital identification system dubbed the Brit Card, planned for the UK. All right. And that's just for the UK as of now. But hey, these things, you know, you'll see other countries start popping up, and they're gonna go with it. They're gonna go with it. They're gonna go with it. This one may not go with it, but then eventually they're brought into submission and they go with it. You know. Okay. It says planned for the UK. It says it will be a smartphone-based app that stores personal information and is required for proving a person's right to work in the UK. So a lot of you that in other countries that come to the UK looking for work and stuff, you're gonna have to have this, okay? With other uses planned for assessing government services, the plan announced by the government is intended to help combat illegal immigration by making it harder for undocumented individuals to be employed, but it has raised significant concerns from civil liberties regarding privacy and security. All right. And you see that? And it says what it is. It says a digital identity card stored on a smartphone similar to the NHS app or contactless payment methods. It says it would include personal details like name, date of birth, photo, and immigration status. All right. It says it is intended to be used to prove a person's right to work in the UK and will also eventually be used for assessing various government services like tax records, childcare, and welfare benefits. So you see that? So we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. Also, the man comes after him, which is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right. This is 2 Thessalonians 2:9 says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. All right. So he's coming after the workings of Satan. He's doing the bidding of Satan on the earth. All right. All right. This is Revelations 13, starting at verse 13. And it says, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. All right. So he's able to do these false miracles and things like that. Okay. Verse 14 says, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. Verse 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, which your forehead is symbolic for your mind, your brain. All right, you got Neuralink. All right, and then they've been microchipping the hands. They're doing all these things. This mark is going to be something that where it's going to cause, they have to cut into you and put that in you. All right. Verse 17, it says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Okay?
A 425, please.
All right. Let's see here. Kenny, keep your mask on.
Sorry, we don't take cash.
Okay. 1 second. Let me...
Sorry, we don't take card either.
I'm sorry? What am I supposed to use?
Can you step to the side so you can figure this out?
Can I speak to your manager? No! Excuse me. Do you guys take checks?
We don't need it.
I have the money.
We don't need it.
Okay, what the hell is that? When was that implemented? I don't have that.
Sorry, but we're cashless now. I had to implement the new system just to stay in business.
It's okay, Mom. You don't need it. Let's just go.
I hope you understand. Oh, but hey, if you want to check out Mike's Corner store right up the street, you might have some luck.
Thank you.
So this man's saying that he don't got to use no credit card or nothing to pay for this water right here.
Oh, I didn't know if you need help or anything. Bye.
Oh, I got my, okay, thank you. Whoa, wait a minute. What barcode? Hold on.
Soon you will be able to pay for groceries at every Whole Foods in the U.S. with just a swipe of your hand. Amazon says that the Pay by Palm technology will be at all of those stores nationwide by the end of the year. Customers just have to hover their hand over the device to pay. This method is already being used at 200 Whole Foods locations across 20 states, and you can also find it in other places, stores like Panera Bread.
So I'm going to show you how I pay for my drink here in China. 微信可以的。
可以啊。
对。So I use my.
好。
You see that? All I used was my hand, and that was it.
So once again, Revelations 13:17, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 636. 666. And you know, when you look at these damn devils, they've always throwing up them little hand gestures and stuff. And they have showed you them wicked ass symbols, and it comes out like a 666. Even some of their so-called logos on things, you know, when you have eyes to see, you're able to see like, hold on, you know, these clues and stuff, because they speak in code. They do through symbolisms and all that kind of stuff. They put stuff in movies, you know, they do stuff in secret. All right. But yeah, 666. All right, this is the book of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 24, and it says, for there shall arise false Christs and false prophets and show great signs and wonders. There go those great signs and wonders again. All right, it says, insomuch that if it were possible, showing you that this is impossible, they shall deceive the very elect. It says, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. So it's showing you that they cannot deceive the very elect. And you can see all that fog stuff is starting to clear up now. So I can't even take a picture of it now. But man, if y'all saw what I seen this morning, you know, now the sun is able to shine. But yeah, it was foggy like crazy out here. All right. But again, it says, for they shall arise false Christs. All right. And it says, and false prophets, and show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. And that's why the very elect cannot be deceived by this. All right. They're going to stand on Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And Lord willing, you know, some of our brothers and sisters out there in, you know, South America, Central America, Mexico, you know, Mexico, you know, Cuba, Puerto Rico, you know, all those areas, you know, some of you Northern Kingdom, all right, that you hearken and turn back to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Some of your leaders are starting to see it. Whether they know that they Israel or not, they're starting to see that this man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And they're saying certain things, and that should steer something in you to really look into this. You know, don't make marriages with these people. Don't be joined unto these people. All right, but come back to your true nationality, which is you are an Israelite. All right. Come back to your power. Come back to Yahweh. Come back to Yahweh Shai. All right. Come back to these law, statutes, and commandments that you swore to keep. All right. This is Revelations 3, starting at verse 10. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Verse 11, behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. All right. And your crown is symbolic for your salvation. All right. And that wisdom and knowledge will be the stability of thy times. So we knowing that the wisdom and knowledge will keep you. And where's that wisdom and knowledge? Of the Holy Scriptures. And then where is it stored at? In your mind. Okay. So and part of this man doing that mark is that, you know, they want to put a microchip in your brain. All right. You know, he put his mark in your brain. If he does that, you know, then you won't be able to receive this truth. And let's say you have this truth in your mind, but you go and you get this mark, then it's a wrap for you. All right. So again, it says, behold, I come quickly, because we know Yahushua's going to come like a thief in the night. You know, he's going to come get his elect. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. You know, let him not take this knowledge, wisdom and knowledge that will be the stability of thy times that's stored in your mind. All right. That crown symbolic for your salvation, your deliverance. All right. Don't let him do that. Here are the consequences for taking it. And I'll go ahead and close it out with this. And I pray this has been an edifying lesson. This is a little something through the Spirit. Lord willing, I'll be back out here and do a couple more lessons before going out on my highways. I plan on going out early today. I want to get it done early. You know, as you start getting into fall, you know, sundown is a little bit, you know, it starts creeping a lot earlier and earlier. And I like to get back before it gets too dark. The crazies come out. Around here, there's a lot of, on my way down to do my highways, there's a lot of homeless. We had a homeless, I had a homeless, I think it was a few weeks back at one of my highways, and he was out there. He was asleep, but I mean, I try to be not too loud, because I don't know, like, what kind of spirit he might come in. And, you know, I didn't want him, you know, doing the most. I had one time I was doing it wasn't a highways, it was one of my lessons, but this guy came out. Actually, I think it was a highways, but it was, I had to do it over in like a park area. That's before I got the location I'm at now. And this homeless Edomite came over and got right there beside me, was looking at me, kept staring at me, looking at me dead in my face, and then he lit up a cigarette and was blowing smoke in my face. And, you know, and I was just trying to play it cool, and I didn't want to have to, you know, cause a scene or nothing. But, you know, I just went ahead and just packed my things and moved to another location, because I refused to sit there and have him blowing that smoke in my face. And if I said something, you know, who knows how that would have ended. You know, a lot of them Edomites, you know, they carry knives and things like that, and they ready for conflict. All right, but this is Revelations 14, starting at verse 9, and these are the consequences for taking it. So, you know, we can't tell you about the mark without telling you, hey, we're going to tell you not to take it, but we're also going to tell you if you take it, these are the repercussions for it. This is, again, Revelations 14 and 9, and it says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast, so even if you worship the beast, okay, and his image, and receive his mark, because, hey, not just receiving the mark, but if you even worship the beast, man, all right, in his forehead or in his right hand or in his hand, all right. Verse 10, it says, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So you're going to be tormented, all right, with fire and brimstone, and in the presence of the holy angels, all right, and the Lamb. What is that Lamb? Yahweh Shai, all right. He saves, he delivers. He's a savior and a deliverer unto the nation of Israel, all right. He's our king and our redeemer, and he's going to sit there and watch you burning, tormented, which will be that lake of fire. Verse 11, and the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest. They have no rest, day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Call all Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. I want to give all honor, all glory, and all praise unto Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai B'Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the elders of the nation of Israel, and shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. And to the next one, shalom.